Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the end of October of 2021 and we're only getting closer to the official release of the Book of Boba Fett as well as the Kenobi TV series, which by the way is slated for a May of 2022 release. We're getting closer to the official teaser trailer of that this December. That's going to be attached to the Book of Boba Fett series. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. We do post a couple of fun, entertaining things from time to time and interact with you guys further. So now that we're at the very end of this month, we're getting closer to November. It's going to be a very special month because, well, Disney Plus Day is only a couple of weeks away. We're going to learn a lot more about the Boba Fett series, about Jon and Dave's approach to this mandoverse that they're all putting together, as well as exactly what Bob Chapek has planned for the future of Star Wars. A lot of that, a good chunk of that, is going to be previewed at Star Wars Celebration. Of course, that's going to be in May of next year, so keep your calendars marked for that. Now, when we go ahead and dive deeper into what Jon and Dave are trying to do, not just with the TV shows and the movies, but also with the Star Wars lore at heart. This is why they got major promotions at Lucasfilm just a couple of months ago. All thanks to Chapek for doing that and allowing that to happen, because now they have more creative control over many of the Star Wars characters, be it legends or the ones in canon, and exactly how they're all going to work together in order to really kind of bring them back into the Disney canon from Legends. And I think that's a very, very difficult task, but I think that they're really going to stay on their A game and they're really going to succeed at doing this correctly. So with that being said, of course, we do know that Jon and Dave are doing everything in their power in order to really keep things as accurate as possible when it comes to Star Wars Legends. I mean, you have to at the end of the day. It is all about the hardcore fans that they really want to satisfy first, and then the casual fans filling that in as well. So with that being said, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on their new Star Wars universe with projects like Ahsoka and Kenobi, both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing everything that they can to reshape the brand in order to satisfy the fandom. However, it's described that creator Jon Favreau is doing something big for the future of Star Wars with the sequel trilogy characters. Now, it's noted that for a while, Favreau has been trying to figure out how to continue the story of Rey and Ben Solo in a new canon material that will eventually lead to other characters in live-action form. Initially, Favreau had a plan to reset Rey Skywalker as a character by having her body combine with Ben Solo's spirit, making her into a literal Skywalker in a sense. However, now Favreau is said to be resetting that plan for Rey, and that there are now concrete plans put in place that Favreau is set to bring back Ben Solo to life in the Star Wars lore, making it as if he never really died. Instead of Ben Solo's spirit becoming a part of Rey, making her into a Skywalker, it's described that now the major plan is that when Ben Solo vanished in Episode 9, much of Ben Solo's knowledge about his family was passed on to Rey's mind, making her understand the Skywalker legacy in greater depth. Now, Favreau's plan is to bring Ben Solo to the world between worlds, and that this will be explored in a new comic series for 2022, and that Favreau is planning to bring back Ben Solo in live-action form for a new Star Wars series, in the form of a cameo in a post-Episode 9 era, along with Rey, by making them the new couple of the Star Wars universe where they will eventually have children. Now, given that Ben Solo is, of course, both a Solo and a Skywalker, this is why Favreau is taking key ideas from Cade Skywalker and Jaina Solo and making Jaina Solo into Jaina Skywalker in a brand new Star Wars era that will be explored on film. Now, though Favreau recently ditched the idea of Rey becoming one with Ben Solo's spirit, there is said to be some concrete and, of course, connections between the two that will be explored that is going to lure Rey to the world between worlds to actually bring Ben Solo back. This is planned to be explored in both a new comic series as well as a planned animated show that will eventually answer questions as to how Ben and Rey are described to have cameos in that mystery live-action Star Wars series from a new era of the franchise and new stories to be dropped in the near future. Now, Favreau is also set to aid, of course, in Luke Skywalker's son, in exactly how that's going to be worked out in the mix. during the events after Episode 6, as well as diving more into Shmi Skywalker's parents that are going to really dive deeper into the Skywalker legacy, essentially Anakin Skywalker's grandparents. Both Favreau and Filoni have a library's worth of material that they are currently putting together for the World Between Worlds, and that this is just the beginning for the Star Wars fandom to witness. George Lucas is said to also be involved in how this will all be done in both the lore, animated, and live-action projects that are in the works. So let me just stop right here for a second. Now, this matches directly up with what we talked about a couple of weeks ago of how Jon Favreau kept going back and forth on exactly how he's going to incorporate Rey and Ben Solo to have children, right? And he's been trying to figure this out for a very long time now. So I guess he came to the realization that Ben Solo's spirit becoming one with Rey, yes, it could have been done. It would have actually made Rey have a child very much in a sense like how Shmi Skywalker did for Anakin, Immaculate Conception. They could have done something like that, and that seems like what they were aiming to do. But now, when you have, of course, Favreau kind of going more toward bringing Ben Solo back, you can see that he's been listening to the fans. A lot of fans were always very confused. Why in the world did we not see Ben Solo's Force Ghost? Well, the true answer is this. It's because Kathleen Kennedy kept changing the ending of Episode 9. Even Daisy Ridley said this. They kept constantly changing the ending. There were even key sequences in which J.J. Abrams planned for J.J. to actually have Ben Solo stay alive. So now what Favreau is doing is that he's creating this actual plan to actually make it that Ben Solo never really quote-unquote died. And it's a very interesting take on things, because we did see him vanish after he gave his life force to Rey. This is something that Favreau is pushing right now, and is really trying to make it something very much in tune with the vision of George Lucas to at least keep that Skywalker bloodline alive. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Because if you think about it, if it's just Rey, the true Skywalkers are not really continuing per se, right? You have, of course, Luke and his son that's going to be introduced during the events of the mandoverse. We're going to see more of that in not just live action, but also in comics and books. That's also going to be recreated from Star Wars Legends. I honestly cannot wait, and I think it's the main reason as to why Favreau brought back a young Luke in the first place. So, the other thing that I think a lot of fans need to know that is absolutely important is the fact that, well, this is actually a great approach, because if you look at the World Between Worlds, on Exegol, I don't know if you guys know about the lore, but this is where Ben Solo essentially vanished, alright? He vanished within the Sith Eternal, alright? Within the overall structure that was destroyed when Palpatine was pretty much, disintegrated by Rey, right? So, if you go by the lore, and this is all canon, this is real, underneath the surface of Exegol lies some form of a connection to the World Between Worlds. And it makes a lot of sense now. You can see how Favreau's digging deeper into the Star Wars lore, trying to make things make a lot of sense. And you know what? They were dropping breadcrumbs here and there, First they had the World Between Worlds having some form of a connection to, of course, the world of Exegol. Then they dropped another breadcrumb that, of course, everything related to life force exchange has to do with the dyad in the Force, that only Force users that have that dyad are able to do that technique. So it's a very interesting way to go about doing things by introducing the canon and how they're fitting it in to their overall structure and their new plan to really bring back Ben Solo in a very key way that's going to be done in books and novels to set things up for animated and live action versions of himself. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know if you all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.